So it is currently July 2020. I'm gonna try to get this video up as soon as possible because this year the TPT conference went virtual, and they have also told us that in the future it will still have a virtual option, even if hopefully we get to be together in Boston in 2021. So I've had some questions from people who either attended the conference and wanted to know my thoughts and videos they needed to make sure that they watched. And I've also seen questions from people who are wondering what I have learned and whether or not it's actually worth going to. What we're gonna do today is I'm gonna talk through a few of my personal key takeaways from the TPT virtual conference. I watched almost every video, so I feel pretty on top of things. Then we're gonna talk about my favorite videos so that if you're in the conference, you can make sure you watch these before they expire on the 31st. And lastly, I'm gonna tell you whether I think it was worth it or not. So let's hop right on in. All right, so for the TPT conference, it had a lot of sessions. And the great thing about being virtual was you got to see everything. And the bad thing about it being virtual is that you got to see everything. So that takes me to key takeaway number one, which was not something I learned in any of the sessions. It's something I learned from trying to attend all the sessions, and that is, you don't have to attend all the sessions. So there were a lot of sessions and they were kind of grouped by what they were about. So on the first day, there was a lot of things about like productivity, and then on the second day, there was a lot of stuff about something else and then something else. I don't quite remember off the top of my head, but the first day I remember was a lot about productivity. And if you have been around here for a while, you know that I talk a lot about productivity. Y'all, I am like a productivity junkie. I read all the books and I watch all the videos, and I'm always looking for new strategies where I can make the most of every single second. Which means that when I was watching these videos, most of them, I already knew all the stuff. So I was getting really frustrated because I was watching these videos and I was like, this isn't helpful to me. Like, I'm not learning anything new. And it was really irritating. Now, 100% because I am a person who has read lots and lots of books about productivity. Actually, I told myself I was not going to read any more productivity books. And then I read another one. And another one. So here we are. And if you're looking for recommendations, I can leave them below. But like in particular, there was one session where there were like 5 points, and each point was kind of based off of a strategy that was in a book. And I had read like 3 of the 5 books, and I was like, I'm pretty sure she just raided my library because it was like stuff that I had. So my point being, those sessions would be really helpful to somebody else, but they were not helpful to me. So I was trying to watch every single session all the way through, and I came to the realization that that was just not necessary. So feel free to not watch all the videos, or if you start watching a video and realize it's not for you, you can click out. Now, if we're in person next year, don't like walk out of a session. That wouldn't be good. But if you're virtual, just click the exit. It's fine. My actual first key takeaway, but we'll call it number 2, is that previews are everything. I will admit that by the time I get my resources up and finished, I usually don't want to spend much time on my preview because I'm usually like, I just need to get it up. But many of the sessions, in particular, the one that Carrie Tracy did and the one that Elizabeth and Jarrett Boucher did, really showed me how important it is to have really good previews. Your preview is what people see of your product before they purchase it. So if they look at the preview and they don't quite understand what it is, they're not gonna buy. Or if they look at the preview and they don't, it doesn't show the whole resource, or it's not really well done, then they just don't know what's gonna be good. So based on that, I'm really trying to up my preview game in the next few months. So I'm looking into doing video previews. I've already done a few of them, and those are helpful, and trying to just really think, especially for my bigger products, how can I really show off like exactly what is available and how awesome they are? Because even if you know how awesome they are, other people won't know unless your preview is really good. So previews, very important. Number 3 kind of goes right along with that, and that is SEO. Now, I come from a blogging background, so I'm actually pretty decent about SEO, but I have realized we need to take it to a new level after watching some of these videos. SEO is important, not just, well, first of all, SEO stands for search engine optimization, and it's basically telling the internet what your resource or your blog post or your YouTube video is about so that it can find the right people. So I deal with that on YouTube all the time. I try to make sure that I put like TPT or Teachers Pay Teachers in pretty much every video title and description, because I don't want people coming to my videos who don't do Teachers Pay Teachers, and I'm talking all about Teachers Pay Teachers, and then they click out. That's not helpful to me, because that actually hurts me because they're clicking and then not watching. So in every video, I try to make it really clear who it's for, what it's about, and those things. This means having keywords in there, like using, and for me on YouTube, Teachers Pay Teachers. For you and your products, that might be, you know, first grade math activity or things like that, and really making sure that you have a variety of keywords. I hadn't quite thought about how you can have, you know, first grade math activity and then like centers activity for first grade, or a grade 1 activity, or things like that, where you might need a few variations of the keyword. Now, it still needs to be like legible and really good, but in both Heather Furgen's Pinterest video and then also in Kristen Doyle's video all about SEO, I learned a lot about how to search for search terms in easy ways and how to like keep track of them and how to write them in. So if you're interested in more of that, I can make a video on that. Just let me know down below. The 4th thing that I'm gonna leave it with is adding as much value as possible to your resources, specifically in having things like teacher guides or other ideas. So I sell a lot of things that are like flashcards or composition cards, and I usually have blog posts that talk about how you can use flashcards, how you can use how you can use composition cards and things like that, but I didn't think to actually put them into my resources. I just was selling, you know, like, okay, here's some flashcards. So what I'm going to do now is go back and add things in there, like here's 3 things you can do with flashcards, here's some fun things you can do, and just things like that to make it a little bit more useful. More value is in your resource, the more people will want to get it, because even though you wrote an awesome blog post, they might have not seen that blog post, so they might not know that that's something that you can do. All right, so those are a few of my key takeaways. Now, obviously, my key takeaways are very different from other people's because of where I am in my TPT journey, but those were a few of the things that just really stood out to me and things that I'm really trying to work on going forward. It's like previews, SEO, and adding as much value to my resources as possible. All right, so I'm gonna rattle off a couple of just my favorite sessions so that if you have signed up for the conference and you still have a few more days to watch, these are the ones that I would definitely hit. The first one is Tips for the Full-Time TPT Teacher by Megan Polk. This was one of the best sessions in the whole thing. It was about time management, yes. However, I learned quite a bit and got a lot of ideas from that. Number 2 is Data, Your Most Valuable and Underutilized Asset. So good. Now, fair warning, it gets really deep, and there were things in there that I was like, I don't even know. I had to like rewind it a couple times because I was like, how did you get here? But so specific and so helpful, and you know how I love specific and helpful things. Number 3 would be SEO, What TPT Teachers Need to Know. Definitely so good, so good. And then the next one would be Content Marketing, which is my heart. How to repurpose your content to work smarter and not harder. I almost didn't watch this one because I'm already really big onto repurposing, but I was like, maybe she has some ideas that I don't have, and she did. That one was awesome. And then my last one that I really liked was the 90-day content calendar. They did a really good job in that one, giving you not just ideas of how to create your content calendar, but also ideas for how to come up with more ideas. And I really liked how they put it in Airtable, and they had like a spreadsheet so that they could check off like, they did it for blog posts. So they had like the blog post title, and then like, did I do the graphics? Is there an email opt-in? Is there a product associated with it? And just a lot of things that you can check off to just really keep track of. The final question is, would I recommend the TPT conference to you? And the short answer is yes. If you needed help with any of those things I just talked about, or even other things, they had videos about creating products in PowerPoint and lots of time management things, and just more basic things. So if you have more basic things that you're wanting to learn, then it would be really good for you as well. I think if you are, you know, maybe quite a bit above me, it wouldn't be helpful. But even in the videos where I was like, I don't know if I need to watch this because I know a lot about it, I still found lots of nuggets of good stuff and helpful things. Also, next year, the TPT conference is going to be in Boston, and fingers crossed we will actually get to go. And I think it would be even more rewarding to actually go to the conference. I know that's a huge financial investment and time investment, but going to the conference means that you could actually like meet people, which honestly was the thing that I was the most excited about. And so I was still really disappointed when it went virtual, because I was so excited to like meet other TPT authors, because I don't know anyone personally who actually does that. Oh, that's not true. I convinced one of my friends to open her shop. So now I got one, but she like just opened it last week. So I would suggest it, especially if it's in person, so you can actually go and talk to people. But of course, it totally depends on who you are. And you can, yes, already register for next year in Boston in July. And I plan to be there as of now. I always have a hard time saying like, I'm gonna be there when it's, you know, a year out. So my plan at the current moment is to be there. So I would love to know what you learned at the TPT conference, and also what your favorite sessions are, so that if I miss them, I can go back and watch them in the next few days. So if you attended, leave your comments down below and let me know what your favorites were. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful week. Hi everyone. Oh wow, look at that face. So I will enter the whether it's not so, and just like general ideas, and I don't really, now I have to put my pillows back. She's gonna want to come back in 5 minutes. Something else I don't remember off the top of my head, but oops, sorry.